Imagine turning on your TV in the late 1960s and seeing a young man do something so strange, so unbelievable, that millions around the world thought he might actually have superpowers. This man claimed that his mind was powerful enough to bend metal, restart broken watches, and even read people's thoughts. His name? Uri Geller. In today's video, we're diving into the incredible story of Uri Geller, the man who shocked scientists, amazed TV audiences, and left the world divided. Was he truly gifted with psychic abilities, or just a clever magician? Stick around, because what you're about to hear might completely change the way you think about the human mind. Uri Geller's story begins in 1946, when he was born in Tel Aviv. At the time, the city was part of Palestine, but just a couple of years later, it would become part of the newly established state of Israel. Like most children, Uriel's early years seemed ordinary, until something very strange happened that changed the course of his entire life. One day, when Uri was only 6 years old, his mother gave him a simple bowl of soup with a spoon. Nothing unusual, just an ordinary family meal. But as Uri lifted the spoon, something shocking occurred. Right there in his hands, the spoon suddenly bent and snapped in half, falling straight into his bowl. His mother was stunned but quickly dismissed it, thinking maybe the spoon was old, weak, or defective. But it didn't stop there. Only a few days later, the exact same thing happened again. This time, Uri began to wonder if it wasn't the spoon at all. Maybe, just maybe, it was something inside of him, something he couldn't yet understand. As he grew older, Uri began experimenting with this strange ability. At school, he showed his classmates how he could bend cutlery almost effortlessly. His friends would bring spoons and forks, convinced they were unbreakable, only to watch Uri twist them with nothing more than a touch. Word spread quickly, and Uri became something of a mystery among the children. He wasn't just the kid who could bend spoons. He was the boy who might actually have powers beyond explanation. But spoon bending wasn't the only odd thing he noticed. Uri claimed that he sometimes knew what others were thinking. It wasn't always clear or detailed, but he could sense emotions, images, or ideas from people around him, almost like he was able to tap into their thoughts. For a young boy, this was both exciting and unsettling. He wasn't just different. He was beginning to feel that he might be truly unique. By the time Uri turned 18, life took a different turn. Like many young men in Israel, he joined the army. During his service, he fought in the Six-Day War of 1967, where he was injured. His time in the military was short-lived, and after leaving, he found himself searching for a new direction. That's when Uri began turning his strange abilities into performances. At first, it was small gatherings, private parties, nightclubs, local events. People would gather around as Uri bent spoons, twisted keys, and performed feats that seemed to defy explanation. Some audiences believed he was simply a talented magician, using sleight-of-hand tricks to fool the eye. But others, unable to spot any trickery, were convinced they were witnessing something real. The reactions were always the same: shock, disbelief, amazement. People couldn't look away. And soon, what began as small shows in Israel would open the door to something much bigger. A career that would take Uri Geller onto the world stage and into the homes of millions. By the late 1960s, Uri Geller was no longer just a small-time performer in Israel. He was on the verge of becoming a global phenomenon. As he began appearing on both American and British television, audiences around the world were left stunned by what they saw. On live broadcasts, spoons seemed to soften and twist in his hands, keys bent with just the lightest touch, and compasses spun wildly as though controlled by an invisible force. But perhaps the most unbelievable stunt of all was when Uri looked directly into the camera and addressed viewers at home. He told them to grab their broken wristwatches, hold them tightly in their hands, and watch carefully. According to countless reports, people across the country claimed that their stopped watches actually began ticking again. For many, This was the moment that transformed Geller from a stage act into something that felt truly supernatural. By 1972, Uri's fame had reached such incredible heights that it attracted the attention of scientists. Could there be something real behind his powers? The Stanford Research Institute in California decided to put him to the test. Two respected researchers, Harold Puthoff and Russell Targ, designed a series of controlled experiments to see if Uri's abilities could hold up under scientific scrutiny. The tests lasted for 5 weeks, and they were anything but simple. In one of the most famous experiments, researchers prepared sealed envelopes containing hidden drawings. Uri was not allowed to see them. His task was to simply place his hand on the envelope, concentrate, and sketch whatever image he believed was inside. Out of 10 trials, he refused to attempt 2, saying he couldn't sense anything. But in the other 8, his drawings were astonishingly close to the originals. Sometimes they were simple outlines, other times almost exact duplicates. For the scientists observing, it was extremely difficult to dismiss what they were seeing. But that wasn't the only test. In another experiment, several sealed metal containers were placed before Uri, with only one of them containing a hidden object. Without opening or touching them, he was asked to determine which container held something inside. Time and time again, he selected the correct one, much to the amazement of the researchers. Perhaps the most statistically remarkable trial involved something as ordinary as a die. A standard 6-sided die was placed inside a closed, opaque metal box. The box was shaken, and then Uri was asked to predict which number would land face up. In trial after trial, his predictions were shockingly accurate, so much so that by chance alone, the odds of getting it right, that many times were considered nearly impossible. To the scientists at Stanford, these results suggested that something unusual was indeed happening. Whether it was genuine psychic ability or some unknown phenomenon, one thing was certain. Uri Geller had become more than just an entertainer. He was now at the center of one of the most debated mysteries of the 20th century. But not everything about Uri Geller's rise to fame was perfect. Inside the controlled environment of laboratories, where every move was closely monitored, his abilities didn't always hold up. When asked to bend metal without even touching it, Uri often struggled. Sometimes nothing happened at all. Other times, the results were so subtle that researchers couldn't tell if they were witnessing something extraordinary or just a natural trick of perception. This was all the fuel skeptics needed. Critics began arguing that Uri's famous spoon-bending could easily be explained by sleight of hand, classic magician tricks dressed up as psychic phenomena. And soon, professional magicians began stepping into the spotlight to expose what they believed was the truth. One of his most vocal opponents was James Randi, a skilled illusionist who made it his mission to challenge claims of the paranormal. Randi demonstrated, step by step, how simple stage techniques could create the same effects Uri was showing to the world. He insisted that Geller's powers weren't supernatural at all, but carefully crafted illusions designed to dazzle audiences. This ignited a fierce debate. Was Uri Geller truly psychic, tapping into powers beyond human understanding? Or was he just a brilliant performer, fooling even scientists with tricks they didn't recognize? The controversy damaged his reputation, but it didn't end his career. If anything, it pushed him into new and unexpected directions. In the years that followed, Uri shifted his focus. Instead of performing only for television audiences, he began offering his services to oil companies, claiming he could use his abilities to identify drilling sites deep beneath the earth. Reports suggest that some companies took him seriously, paying large sums for his insights. But that wasn't all. Uri also claimed to have worked with Israel's intelligence agency Mossad, and later, even the CIA reportedly became interested in him during the height of the Cold War. Declassified documents from that era reveal that the CIA tested him under strict conditions, and according to their conclusions, they found no evidence of trickery in many of his demonstrations. Whether that meant they truly believed in his powers or simply saw potential value in his skills, the idea of Uri Geller as a psychic spy quickly captured the public imagination. Over the decades, Geller's abilities continued to both fascinate and frustrate. Some documentaries, like the BBC's The Secret Life of Uri Geller, Psychic Spy, suggested that he may have even been used as an operative in secret missions, possibly interfering with Soviet intelligence. Others dismissed these claims as exaggerated stories designed for entertainment. Today, Uri Geller is 78 years old. His fame has faded compared to his glory days in the 1970s, but he still occasionally demonstrates his so-called powers for small audiences and private events. Whether real or staged, his performances continue to raise questions that science has yet to fully explain. Was he truly gifted with abilities beyond our understanding, or simply one of the greatest showmen of the modern era? So, what do you think? Was Uri Geller truly a man with superhuman abilities, or just a master of illusion who fooled the world? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. I'd love to hear what you believe. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to like, share, and subscribe for more incredible stories from history and beyond. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.